Welcome to the Love You Zindagi show. This is a platform where people from all walks of life come forward and share their ideas, their experiences, which in turn motivate and impact the lives of so many people and encourage them to move forward in life, come what may, as I strongly believe that success comes after failure. I also invite many influencers on this show and ask them amazing questions to understand the secret of their success. So let's get started with your host. Hi, my name is Shruti Sethi, and I'm an author and a podcaster. I help people from all walks of life to come together, collaborate, and grow together. Today, we have someone very special with us on the show. She is a writer, a freelance development editor, an online writing instructor, and an award winning journalist. She is also the founder of Shortcuts for Writers. She's already in the studio, so let's welcome her. Hi, Stacy. Welcome to my show, and it's a pleasure having you over with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. So, could you please tell us something about yourself?
I'm a fiction author. I've written mystery novels, romantic comedy, young adult books, and a couple of children's books. I'm also a freelance developmental editor, and I teach online courses for writers.
Okay, that's great. What type of books have you written and what has inspired you to write them?
I think I like to write the kind of books that I enjoy reading. So when I was growing up, I loved reading mystery novels. So I've written a couple of mystery novels 25 years ago today and Sink or Swim. 25 years ago today was inspired by my years of working for a small independently owned daily newspaper. It's about a newspaper reporter and editorial assistant, and those are jobs I've had. Sink or Swim was inspired by the reality TV show craze with shows like Survivor. And I used to work at a health club in college, so my main character works at a health club. So I take like little bits and pieces of, my experiences, and even though it's fiction, sometimes I'll draw upon different settings and backgrounds I'm familiar with. And then my romantic comedy series, the Storybook Valley series, is set at a fairy tale theme park, and they're sweet romance, sweet, clean romance, chick lit. They're funny. And I think that was just inspired by my love of Disney World, my love of theme parks.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So why did you create your online course, that is your book editing blueprint, which is, I believe, a step-by-step plan to making your novels publishable?
Yes. So in addition to writing books, I've also been a freelance developmental editor for the past several years. So as a developmental editor, I will evaluate writers. They'll send me their manuscript, and I'll evaluate everything, like from their characters to their plot, to the point of view they're using, how well they're doing, like first person or third person, to the word choice, whether they write actively or passively. So just like a whole wide range of issues. And I was finding that all beginner writers make the same mistakes, the same exact mistakes, and that they would hire an editor too early. So hiring an editor is kind of an expensive endeavor, and it's necessary, definitely, because it's very competitive to submit your work to a publisher or to an agent. And if you want to self-publish your book, then you have to make sure it's as strong as possible before you hit publish. So it is essential to hire an editor, but if you hire one too early, then you're going to find that you're going to be going back and forth on rewrites, and you're going to have to invest probably $1,000 or more dollars into the manuscript, because each round of editing could cost you there's a wide range of fees, but for the most part, I think for a 300-page manuscript, you'd be looking at $700 at the very least for the first run of editing. And then if you're a beginner intermediate writer and you're going to need several rounds, you might need 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds. Most writers can't afford that. And that's just working with a developmental editor who will just help you really tell the story the best you can. Some authors will, after that, would also need to hire a copy editor to help clean up their punctuation and grammar, and a proofreader, you know, so it's a very expensive endeavor. So I was just, because I was finding that authors were hiring me too early and then they were facing several expensive rounds of editing, I decided that what authors really needed was like a stepping stone to hiring an editor. So I decided to create my book editing blueprint course as a stepping stone, where it's 10 modules, and every module is drawn from my editorial letters that I've written my clients. So it's just all the common mistakes that writers tend to make. And we just, dive into them. It's self-paced, so they can take it at their own pace. It's a mix of videos and written lectures. There's some quizzes. And then there's also a workbook so that they can evaluate their own manuscript for each issue. And then by the end of the class, they'll have basically written themselves an editorial letter to just guide them on their early drafts. And then there's also a 25-page checklist of all the things that a developmental editor is going to be looking for, so that they can look for these issues themselves in their early draft. And then once they've taken it as far as they can on their own, and they've given some consideration to all these issues, then it's time to hire an editor. And then that editor can do a much higher level edit, because they won't have to teach them all these beginner things. And hopefully it can cut down on some of those rounds of editing, so that the process will just be a lot more streamlined and less expensive.
Awesome. So what is some advice that you would like to give the budding new writers that people who want to write their books, basically?
I think, first of all, write about something that you're interested in. Look at what do you like to read, what ideas excite you, because that passion will show your readers. That's what's going to draw readers in, and that's what's going to get you through that discipline of going on your computer every day and sitting down to write. If you're writing about something that you're genuinely interested in, do a lot of research, because if you're writing a medical thriller and you've never worked in a hospital, then, you really need to do your research to make that believable. You certainly don't have to just write what you know, but, you should learn what you don't know to make it more believable. And then just think about your character. That's very important. Who is this character, and how is this person going to grow and change, by the end of the book. And just do a lot of reading in that genre, because you can really pick up a lot of things just by reading how successful authors in your genre do it. Look at how they describe things, look at the words they're using. I mean, probably not using a lot of was, were, they're not stopping the story with a page of description, the painting was on the wall, that, you want to make things active and just really weave it in. Weave your descriptions into the action. So just, look at that, really study that and how other successful authors are doing it, and just see what you can pick up to apply to your own writing.
Wow, that's really great. I'm sure all the budding writers who are watching or listening to this show would benefit with the valuable inputs given by you. So if someone wants to connect with you, how can they connect? Do you have a platform where they can reach out to you?
Yep, I have. So if they're readers and is interested in finding out more about my books, I have my stacyjuba.com website, and then I have a separate website and blog just for writers called shortcutsforwriters.com.
Okay.
And if they go there, there's a link to my free 5-day editing class. It's called Line Editing Made Simple: 5 Days to More Polished Pages. So if they sign up for that, that'll just give them a little bit of taste of my teaching style, and it will give them a lot of pointers that they can use to just take a pass through their manuscript, tightening up and kind of pumping up their word choice to do a line edit. And then I also have a Facebook group, and there's a link to the Facebook group on the website, the Shortcuts for Writers Editing Made Simple group, so they can fill out my questions. There's just a couple quick questions just to make sure everybody's a writer, and once they're approved, then it's a very supportive community. Right now we have about 1,300 writers from all over the world, ranging from beginner to best-selling authors, and we just talk exclusively like about the crafts of
Okay.
writing and editing, and there's a bunch of free resources. I have like a unit section, so there's a lot of just a lot of material there that they can use to improve their skills. So.
That's awesome. I think I would also join that.
No, yes,
Yeah, I would love to
definitely.
join that. So it was so wonderful to have you with us today, Stacy. Thank you once again for coming. Since we have come to the end of our show, would you like to say something to our viewers?
I'm just, feel free to reach out to me anytime. And I'd love to, if you're a writer, I would love to have you join the group. And,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on the show. You have just listened to the Love You Zindagi show with your host Shruti and our awesome guest Stacy, who has given us valuable inputs about book writing, which I'm sure all the young budding new writers would have taken note of. If you want to listen to the entire show again, there are links mentioned in the description below. Do go there and check it out. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on Spotify or Anchor. Until then, be safe and stay healthy. Bye bye.